What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another GoBots review, and today we're taking a look at the GoBots Cycle that just recently released. I don't know why Action Toys names him Machine Robo Bike Robo. I guess that's just what third parties do to get around the copyrights in place by Tonka. But yeah, so this is Cycle, as you can see. The face is not very Cycle, not very menacing. He looks a little bit concerned or something, and this gap underneath the head, it just kills me. Like, there's almost no angle you can display him, like even head on. I mean, you still see it there. The wheels here, one of them pegs in a lot more solidly than the other for me. It's pretty easy. Well, he's not going to do it now because he's on camera. You know, that's just how Psycho rolls. But one of these just tends to fall off fairly easily. The head here also has this, like this, for lack of better term, it's kind of like a mullet hanging down in the back, and it's form fit for the motorcycle mode. As a result, Psycho really can only get the depressive downward look when he's, you know, articulating his head. It is on a ball joint, but he's not looking up. He's very sad. He's very sad. He comes with this wicked axe, which I never remember Psycho using in the TV show, but that's okay. It's always nice to get additional accessories. Let's just take these wheels off. If you do prefer the wheelless look, you certainly can, but that's just not my Psycho that I remember. The ball joints here, actually, maybe Psycho didn't have the wheels in the cartoon. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen it. Anyway, he's got ball joints here, and the way this is cut, he doesn't get a whole bunch of movement. Ooh, we're messing with high quality things here. So back to that ball joint I was talking about. You do have this swivel here, which is for transformation, and the ball joint is pretty useless on getting his hand out to the side. So that's about as far up if you were trying to make like a T with his arms as you're getting. So he's not going to do the Soundwave telephone pole. As you saw, he does have the arm on a mushroom peg. Very poorly made. As you swivel it around, you can actually feel the molding catch on there. At least mine does. Like right here, it just catches. Same on this side, I believe. Actually, nope, this side they cut it clean, so that's good. The elbow here is just a pinned elbow. It gets just about a little over 90 degrees. Not bad. No wrist articulation. And guess what? We're starting to do the Hasbro thing. We got hollow bits, which I can't imagine cutting out this tiny, tiny little bit of plastic really made all that much money savings, but whatever. Maybe they're trying to match the aesthetic under the head. The waist swivels down here. We've got a ball jointed leg here, a thigh swivel at the top, a knee swivel because it's on a ball joint, so good range of motion out of there. And the foot is on a ball joint too. So that covers all the articulation we really have with this guy. So he's also got a couple accessories here. He's got these handlebars that, you know, they plug into his shoulders here. And I guess if you want, you really could take the tires out and just plug these in, but then you'd have spare tires just hanging around if you like that look. He's also got a kickstand, and the kickstands can go inside the legs. It's right here. I'll show you that when we transform him back from his bike mode, just because it's easiest to see when we do that. But these handlebars, what I actually do with these, and I had it a couple different ways. I had it like this before and used it like a heel spur, which was nice, but I always kind of felt he was leaning a little bit forward that way, a little bit too much heel spur perhaps. And what just happened? There we go. But what I found that I can do here, and hopefully I have the right one here, you can see none of this stuff really pegs super well. It's pretty loosely held together. But anyway, we're going to take the handlebar here, and I just plug it into, is this the right one? No. It goes on this side. I'm pretty sure that the handlebar curves back, if I recall correct. Most of this stuff is easier to see which way to do it when you actually have them in their bike mode first, and then you put the accessories on. But these little pegs right here, which are actually intended for the wheel, work really nicely to hide the handlebars away when he's in his robot mode, just like this. So that's how I would prefer to do it. And I'll show you again, like I said, where the kickstand can go in robot mode when we go back from the bike mode. So let's take a minute to talk about this guy's aesthetic here just a little. His feet really bother me. I don't know if they're going to bother anyone else, but it's such a light blue, it's not really Psykill to me. I mean, here's the original toy who's rocking the much deeper blue legs, and I think that just looks way better. Of course, there's better paint apps on this with the black lines and the, you know, the little details and stuff like that, but that looks better. Another thing that really bothers me is the lack of a translucent yellow on the head. This orange is very, very dull. It's like your standard like safety cap orange that goes on top of Megatron's head. Yeah, his head, his gun cannon. I suppose, you know, if we had a little tiny orange cap for the Megatron, they kind of match. Maybe the villains need to wear little orange caps. I don't know. But I think that this could have been painted way better, at least way more interesting looking. So as you can see, here's the DX9 Warren Pocket Megatron, and as you can see, real tiny figure, if this one didn't give it away to you just how tiny this guy is. So let's bring in some of his other GoBot mates. Here is Tank, and you can see Tank is a little bit taller than Psykill, which I'm okay with. I don't have any problem with Tank, who I feel is going to be like a big bruiser type character, being bigger than Psykill here. Here is Screwhead, about the same size as Psykill, but it all comes down to a problem when you throw in Leader 1, who's just taller than all of them, and it just looks like Leader 1 wouldn't have any trouble taking down Psykill in this case. Now, I suppose if you consider relative scaling motorcycle to jet, Leader 1 probably should be bigger than Psykill, but for the sake of the GoBot collection, I really don't understand why they made this choice. So let's get Psykill here to his motorcycle mode. We're going to start, we'll take off his tires, we're going to take his head and pull it straight up. You can see it extended out, and we're also going to do the same for his waist. Very small articulation, but articulation nonetheless. Take his arms, fold these on up, and you'll know if you have them in the right position because this little notch in here is going to basically go in to allow the proper positioning of these arms, just like so in there. Take it, fold the ugly hollow side out, and I feel like we have this one just a little bit wrong. There we go. And like usual, give him a tire between his hands, like so. Now, if you're doing my trick here for where to store the handlebars, go ahead and take your handlebars off, plug it into where the wheels were, and they just kind of slide into place there. Again, I feel like they could have done something with these that didn't involve me parts forming them on, but I guess it's not a huge problem. From here, I always forget this, open up this little waist piece here, and they're just going to go and sit to the side, just like this. Take this piece, fold it closed on each side here, open this up, like so. Take the foot, bring this out of the way, and fold it on that ball joint, slide it around like this. And this is another problem. These ball joints are really poorly toleranced on mine, so these just kind of fall off real easy. Let's see, we gotta put it back on. I mean, it just doesn't really work right. So once we have that, take that, fold all this stuff down and out of the way. We have to find the proper position, and the foot should just tuck right on in there, like so. So let's do that for the other side here real quick. Take this up, swing the ball joint up, and I believe this is the foot that is better toleranced for this ball joint on the foot, but the one of them just falls off all the time. So once we have that, you can kind of rotate his knees back. These are now going to flip all the way open and flip it around just like that. So flip it open and around. these can now come together. You got a couple tabs on here that peg all this together, and before we complete pegging this together, we want to make sure we get our wheel back in those holes back there and just kind of, whoops, close it in there. Now take these and make sure your waist is still open. Just kind of fold them up in place, and then the front has these little like T-tabs, and they plug right into his chest here to secure the motorcycle mode. If you have this axe here, you actually can take it and slide it in here, but it really doesn't plug in any meaningful way. It'll work when it's on a shelf, but like the slightest touch and it's gonna fall out of that area there. Here's his kickstand, and it's always useful to me to leave it in here when I transform it so it can be stored away in his robot mode. But it's nice to see which way that is supposed to go, and of course it works. So there's Cykill in his vehicle mode, and there's the original Cykill in his vehicle mode. Again, they could have done a lot with this front end that I feel would have made it a lot more interesting visually to look at, but the motorcycle itself is pretty okay. We don't have to lose the engine like you do on the original. It's all kind of built in there. I do like that touch though. It doesn't quite look the same as it used to. This flap on the back I feel is like trivial. I don't know if it's supposed to represent these pieces on the toy. I'm not sure. It might just be some kind of aesthetics here to hide the thighs here. I don't know. It's not that important to me, but it looks good. Wheels roll fantastically, as you can see. They're on their own little bearings here, or I guess it's on a shaft, but works nice. It's real good. No complaints with the vehicle mode. So let's get this guy transformed and let's get on out of here. First, we're going to start by disconnecting the legs here and bring them back down, and we'll split everything apart, taking this wheel out as we go. Now I'm trying to remember exactly how I like to get this kickstand in. I believe I fold it, I think I fold it like this, back around like so. We'll be able to tell in a minute. Anyway, bring the leg down like so. Bring his exhaust pipe out and get in there the best you can, and lift his foot on that ball joint so you can swing it back down and around just like so. And if we did this right, there we go. Looks like I got it this time. See how the kickstand kind of folded up into the leg? That's how I like to store it so I don't lose it. And don't forget this little tab. So we got that leg done. We're going to come around here. Get under that foot and lift it. Swing it all the way around and bring the exhaust pipe back down, and it has to be down because it will tab into this little tab here. So bring that down. You should see it tab in on the back. Bring this little flap down. There you go. And we can close up his waist panel just like so. So now the next thing I like to do, I take the sides off here, and I always put the matching sides on the proper foot down here. And again, that's just my thing. If you want to leave it in the box, go ahead, leave it in the box, but it's a nice place to store it that is completely out of the way. There we go. Nothing is gonna, it's not gonna hinder the way it all comes together. You're not gonna lose it, it's not gonna fall out. Perfect place for it, in my opinion. So we've got that. And now we'll come to the top here, take his hands off his wheel, bring this down and around, bring this down and around, rotate the arm so it's the right way, push his legs in and push his head down, just like so, and he's back to his teeny tiny little robot mode, and we'll go ahead and give him his wheels. And again, if you want, here's his X. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's not the best Psykill I've seen, perhaps. I mean, it's the most faithful to the original by all means, but you know, could have been a better face on this guy, a little bit of better paint on the head. The rest of the paint I think is good. I don't care for the fact that the die cast here is a different blue than the lighter blue plastic. I feel like they should have just painted it all darker blue. Or darker blue would have been harder to distinguish versus these two tones down here. I like this stuff. I don't like the gap. He does have a very loose waist, but overall I've been having a lot of fun transforming this guy back and forth. I do think he's a lot of fun. He's not terribly expensive, but wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool to get an MP car-sized Psykill, like with the original aesthetic? Not that unique toy Salmore or whatever, but something, you know, something bigger, like a Wreck-Gar size Psykill, but not looking like Psykill trying to be Wreck-Gar, like legitimately Psykill. That's what I really want. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed this GoBot review, and I'll see you next time. By the way, if you haven't figured it out by now, I know exactly what Machine Robo is. I really have no love for Machine Robo. Outside of that, it produced my beloved GoBots. So of course this is actually Machine Robo, Bike Robo, and not really Psykill. And I probably already have like 700 messages down in my comments telling me I'm an idiot or telling me the whole backstory of Machine Robo. And guess what? I don't care. I know it. I understand it. It's not a fiction that I have any ties to. To me, this guy, where did he go? This guy right here, this is Psykill. This was the toy I bought as a kid. His name was Psykill. Yes, he didn't look exactly like the cartoon. Neither does this guy, but guess what he is? He's Psykill, just as this is Machine Robo, Bike Robo to me. So, if all you got out of my review is the fact that I called him by the wrong name the entire review, and you didn't get anything about how he's made, how panels don't necessarily hold very well, but he's still a fun toy, things are loose, you know, the gaps, or the paint that could be better, if that didn't strike you at all just because I called him Psykill, I don't know, maybe you better go find a different reviewer. See you next time.